Hello, welcome to D.L. Howard Paint. I'm going to go ahead and do another quick painting, and I'm going to be free today and not use a photograph. Normally I will use a reference photograph, and I'm just going to go ahead and do something, I think, for my head. And I want to do some beautiful clouds, blue sky, and since it's been a cherry blossom season, I'd like to go ahead and do a little bit of a cherry blossom. So come follow along with me or paint along with me. Enjoy your tea and let's paint. I've already wet. I mist my watercolors and let them sit probably about 15 minutes before I paint. And I'm going to use a small fluffy brush, and I'm just going to get it a little bit wet, mainly because I want to make sure that I don't have any leftover color on there. Sometimes that can wreak havoc a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of a light blue, and I'm just going to go in a swirly fashion like this, random places. And I don't care if it leaves like some places are a little bit lighter in color, some are a little bit darker. As long as I don't have any drip, I just don't want any drip. I'll leave these streaks just like they are. And I'm going to tap into another blue. And I want to keep my blue mainly over here because I'm going to leave this area for my cherry blossom. So I want to keep it kind of light through here and maybe a little bit right back in here, disguised a little bit. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to do a little bit more water here, just a dab. And I'm going to tap it in a little bit of a different blue. Like that. And I'm going to go in these areas where it was already a little bit dark, and I'm just going to kind of tap and release that color. Now, as you can see, it's very wet, so I'm going to try and capture that and just let it kind of swirl around. I don't want to do too much. I want to let this do it for me. Let nature take its course in a way. So just let the paint kind of guide you. Instead of being in control of what you want to happen, I have an idea and a premise behind what I'm looking for, and now I just want to let that develop on the paper, on the canvas, whatever you're working with, and my brain will know. It'll recognize what looks familiar. Right now it's a little bit challenging for me because the sheen from the light reflection is making it a little bit harder for me to see, but it's not that bad. And so I'm going to go back to my other color and dab in again, and wherever this is, I'm just going to go with it. I want to kind of let it do its thing. And just like in the cloud, there's usually, if you look at the sky, there's tones to the sky. You think you see blue, and you do. You just see a lot of different shades of blue, and then the shadows within. So I'm just trying to capture that. If I need a little bit more water, so I just tapped my brush, and I pushed the color on one edge versus the other. So one is a little bit, and I can go from the top or the bottom. And what this is doing is giving me layers of shadow. And I kind of keep it in a swirly fashion, and then it kind of mimics the cloud movement. And I just let things happen naturally. I just dabbed a little bit more water here on the top. I don't even want to stick it all the way in and submerge it. I just want to soften these areas and let it kind of make its own presence aware. Since it's spring and you see a lot, and what I can do, you can see how I will try and start getting more linear now, and I do this kind of at a 45-degree angle, pushing up in a swirling motion, grabbing some paint and manipulating it, pushing it where I want it to go, and these start just kind of developing on their own, and you have this beautiful cloud appearing. And when my brush gets a little dry, I can dab it on the towel. And coming back in here, I just want to make a spot. And so in these little areas where there's a little bit more blue, I'm going to let it be there. I'll work through the trees in that area. And I think what's going to happen is this is going to be like maybe a little mountain in the background and some foliage here and maybe some water. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And I don't usually do this very often, so it's kind of freeing. And I encourage you to do the same. The world is in a lockdown right now, pretty much. And so there's a lot of different ways that humanity is coming together. And even after this, before this, we have a great avenue of sharing through technology. So let's just continue that. Keep it going now more than ever. So as you can see, I've got a couple little areas over here. I just want a little bit softer. Blend that in. Now, sometimes in the sky, I see where there's a little bit of a darker shadow color. So I'm going to grab some purple. Sometimes I like to use purple. My birthstone, so why not? And in these areas where it's a little bit dark, I'm just going to tap just a little bit, especially if there's a little bit of water in there. And I don't want to go too far, and I don't want to do too much. I don't want to go crazy. I just want a little, just gentle. So where these little darker areas, I'm going to let that paint kind of dance around there, and then a little bit more subtle in these areas. I'm going to let it play in the clouds a little bit up here in a muted tone, maybe over here. I think it'll look lovely because I'm going to actually do pink for the cherry blossom. Pink and red. There we go. That's it. Just very gentle, subtle, nothing too intense. I lied. I'm going to go really dark blue up here. I just totally broke all my rules. And maybe a little bit up here. It looks great, trust me. So I've got some paint that decided to stick. It's a happy accident. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here. And a little bit here where there's really dark. I'm going to go ahead and say go back up. I steal some color from here and then bring it down in these darker areas. And then up here, I need to soften that out a little bit. Great. Up here, I'm just gonna soften out some of these a little bit harder streaks that we have here, right in this spot, and just kind of dancing around in here. And I think that there's gonna be some water over here, so I might as well just use this color and get some water, just a hint of it. I don't want to go too crazy here, just a little subtle. And then, of course, if I have some of these other colors in the sky and this is a water reflection, then I want to make sure I represent and get all the colors I have in the sky. And I want to do this while it's wet, and then just kind of like this, and then this is really cool. I'm going to take a dry brush like this while it's still wet. Quick, 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 quick. Boom, done. See how easy that is? Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and do, I got to do the background. So I've got to do the mountain and get all that. And then I can bring the cherry blossom up to the side here. But I'll bring like this mountain back in the back here and just kind of subtle. So I don't want it too pronounced. So I'm going to go with a lighter color. I'm going to do a slanted brush. I always do these kinds of slanted brushes. I think I'm going to do like a lavender and this purple. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit darker blue. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of come in back here. Just a little valley. Just a little. And this, of course, is going to be just kind of an extension of that shoreline right there. And I'll bridge those two together. I'll make that look right. And then over here, the same thing. Good. Okay, there we go. So this is a little bit lighter. So what I'm doing is going back up through there, and that gives me a little bit of a distance in the background. So this is a little bit lighter, and I'm just stealing color from back here and letting it kind of, looks like that's a little bit higher of a valley back there. Just subtle, and I'm just letting the colors kind of do their thing, and it just makes itself. So now I want, of course, the forefront is very dark, or at the base of the mountain, sorry. There we go. Sometimes there's a little bit of foliage up there. That's why this brush is great, because I can convert it really quickly and make like all these little lines here and back up in there. I can tap in here and make it look like there's brush and foliage, which sells the idea of what's going on back here. Depth and shadow, and I'm just kind of haphazardly using some of that color that's dried. Good, just like that. If I need to get a little bit sharper color, I can come back in with a little bit more paint on my brush. Just tap, 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 tap like that. Perfect. And I'm going to bring this into the forefront. There's a little bit of color there I can use. Steal that right there. Good, just like that. So I'm going to bring in, like here. This is still that water, so if I need to, I can grab my thicker brush, dry it off pretty decent, and come in just like that. Same thing with this side. Using that same dark color. Make sure I've got a good balance here. It looks like this might be a little bit too low. So good, got that coming in right here. Perfect. Perfect. Bringing that in. And same thing on this side. Just going to bring that in a little bit better there. Perfect. And this is water, so again, we're just going to blend that in right through there. And so now you see the streak I have in the middle here, right? Okay, so check this out. A little bit thinner brush, clean water, and just scribble, scribble, scribble in the middle. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're ruining it. No, I'm not. Trust me. Scribble, 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 scribble. Again, scribble, 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 scribble. Now, I had a towel. I don't know what I do with it. This will work. So I'm just going to wrap it around my finger. And again, with my nail. Okay, now, you're like, what are you doing? I know. I'm going to take that same brush and stealing some of that. Just dragging the color in. Just like that. Nice and easy. Bringing it through. Nice and slow. Crisscross back there. Get that water in right here. Blend it. If you don't like it, you can scribble, scribble, scribble in there again. And just let it be. Beautiful. So, last thing I want to do is my little cherry blossom tree that's poking out from the side. And I'm going to do a black, maybe a little purple. And it's coming out right here, so I just want little, so it's a peekaboo tree. And by going over it like I am right here, I give a little bit of a a bark effect. Not dog bark, but bark of a tree. And sometimes just letting the brush dry out can also give that same effect. And I just need a little bit more moisture here. And I'm going to drag that color right back through here. And letting those branches kind of come out. Wiggle. In nature, nothing is perfect. As much as I like to think it is, it isn't. So let these imperfections be. I'm a perfectionist, so I want everything balanced and perfect, and it's not that way. So let's get one more branch coming out of here. I'm going to have to borrow some color from that. Okay, excellent. Now I want to go ahead and do a simple pink, and I do all my cherry blossoms in a 3-tone kind of fashion. So I'm going to do a little bit of white and kind of this red here, and I want them not quite mixed on my brush, and I'm going to just kind of carefully tap in all places here. Spring is here. Love cherry blossoms. And as I'm kind of doing this, I'm pushing it down a little harder and squishing it, and it's pushing out the color. So now I want to add a red, a darker red. So I've done my light and my white, and now I'm going to add a little bit richer color, and I'm just going to kind of tap on the outside somewhere, make it bigger and kind of close to the red, but not quite on it. And if I do this right, I can put it right in the spots where it's over the black, and then it'll give the effect that it's over the tree and not through the tree. You won't be able to see that as much. That's what I'm doing. I'm covering up my mistakes here. And it's not really a mistake, it's just blending it in an easier fashion, because this is watercolor. If I were to do this with an acrylic, I'd be able to blend it, no problem, you wouldn't know the difference. But watercolor is a little bit more translucent, and I don't paint with them the way you're supposed to already, so breaking the rules. Do what I want. So anywhere there's a little area that of imperfection, and because I like doing purple, I'm going to add a dark, almost purpley red in the middle of all of these. 3 tones, a dark, a light, and a medium. And it seems to give me the effect that I'm looking for every single time. Okay, and I think that I'm going to call that good. I'm going to go ahead and do, I just dabbed a little bit right here. I'm going to do a little white, my red again, and see if I can just bring these out a little bit more. That's just blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm going to do one more thing with this fluffier brush. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of this blue, and I'm going to do a little bit of kind of brush. Just want to make sure it's dark. Just like that. Okay, and right over in here, same thing. Nice little welcome back, spring. And kind of a little marsh effect. I'm going to bring some of this in here. Oh, I'm going to break some rules. I'm putting some purple in. There we go. And sometimes I like to add a little bit of some brush that are popping up every once in a while, so hold on. Good. It's kind of a monotone color anyway, I like it. Let's do a couple little whispers of tall grass kind of coming up through. Just throwing up these lines here. There. And just doing a nice little thin brush here. And I hear those birds chirping already. There we go. I'm going to do a couple more on the other side just to kind of get some balance. Ah, there we go. These are so fun to do. There we go. All right. I'm just going to cheat and use that same brush and sign with that, I think, and call it good. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I hope you get to painting too. Here we go. And you think 2s and 0s would be easier, but they're not. Okay. And there we go. There we go. Have a great day. Thank you.